All right, here we go. Welcome back to Golf Subpar with Colt, Knost, and Drew Stoltz. It was a busy week in the world of golf, and as always, this episode is brought to you by Fanatics Sportsbook. It's the final major of the season, and Fanatics Sportsbook is your place to bet on all things golf. You can now parlay multiple players, like combining the overall winner with top 5, 10, and 20 finishes, or hole scores and making the cut. For the next 2 weeks only, opt in and bet a $20 or more, 3-leg or more same-game parlay on the final major of the season and get a 50% SGP profit boost token for golf. Plus, we're still dropping our weekly subpar picks in the Fanatics Sportsbook app where you can ride along with us. So much great golf, so many ways to bet, all in the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Join America's fastest growing sportsbook and start earning today. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut residents call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts residents call 800-327-5050. New York residents call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland residents visit mdgamblinghelp.org. All right, Sleaze, let's get into it. Like I said, a very busy week in the world of golf. And we're going to start off with the Scottish Open, where Chris Gotterup went toe-to-toe with Rory McIlroy and came out victorious, picking up his second win on the PGA Tour. You know, we've had him on Subpar. We all know about his talent, just a superstar coming out of Oklahoma. It's been a little bit of a struggle, I would say, on the PGA Tour so far. I know he had the win in Myrtle Beach, opposite field event, but this was a whole nother level. You got Rory McIlroy and you got Wyndham Clark, two major champions in the final group over there in Scotland, and Chris Gotterup is the one that comes out on top, ends up winning by 2. Just an incredible performance for him, and it gets him into this week's Open Championship.
Huge week for CG. I'm so happy for him, man. Like you said, we've had him on here. We have him on radio. He's an all-time good dude, just like a super bro. And you're exactly right. Like, came out of Oklahoma, won all the awards, big expectations. And he did win already on the PGA Tour, but it was Myrtle Beach. It's an opposite field. It doesn't really get the attention. Clearly not even close to what he just did at the Scottish Open with that field. Scottie Scheffler, Rory, all the big names were there. To look Rory in the eye, too, to play in the same group. Colt, it's not like he was 3 groups back, 4 groups back, shoots 8 under and kind of backdoors his way. He slept on that thing, and he had to go play alongside Rory McIlroy, which, by the way, like, that's as big of an away game as you can get for a guy. Like he said afterwards, like, I didn't hear any go Chris's out there, but I heard a shitload of go Rorys. This guy's talent has never been in question. I think he's just starting to figure it out, though, Colt. He does all the things that you need to be a big-time star in the game, drives at miles. He's 8th in driving distance, 8th in strokes gained driving, 2nd in greens and reg. It's just a matter of, like, consistency for him. But this right here, a huge step for him. I love this kid's game. I think he's going to go on to win a lot of events on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, he's got to tighten up the short game. I mean, he's still young, just 25 years old, still raw. But like you said, he smashes it. Great ball striker. I think the biggest difference is he finally got a good caddy on the bag. So he's got rid of Hayden Wood's ass, brings Brady Stockton in, and look, wins the biggest event of his life so far.
I was texting with Hayden last night, like, what's the common denominator here, bud? Yep. Shit's starting to take off for CG, and you're nowhere near him. But, yeah, shout out Hayden. He caddied for him for a number of months earlier this year. And, man, I kind of, when I see him, Colt, tell me what you think about this comparison. He smashes it off the tee. He needs to tighten up the wedges. He's extremely athletic, and when he plays good, it's really good, but it's also as bad is not great right now. He reminds me a lot of, like, early DJ on the PGA Tour. Like, that first year, he won at Turning Stone late in the year. Like, he was threatening to potentially lose his card, and then he kind of got with Butch, started hitting a cut and tightened up the wedges, and all of a sudden he was a monster. I'm not saying Chris Gotterup's like world number 1 and things like that, but I think there's a lot of parallels between Chris right now, early DJ. I think he's going to, like I said, I think he's got a big future ahead of him.
Are you going to say the floodgates are open?
There's no floodgates. I think the word floodgates will never come out of my mouth again. That's like everyone says that stuff. This is no floodgates, but big career, I think, and a long career for Chris. He just does all the things that are the most important. He does those really well.
Yeah, I mean, all the guys nowadays smash it, but he's just a whole nother level. I mean, top 10 in driving distance, like you said. A lot like Dustin, does need to tighten up the short game to, I think, be a mainstay out on the PGA Tour and contend week after week and possibly contend for major championships. It's a hell of a comparison. I would say if you're Chris Gotterup, you take that as an honor to be compared to DJ, a guy who's won 20 plus times on the PGA Tour, 2 major championships. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, it's a huge compliment. I mean that in the best way possible. Also, when I watch him play Colt, I feel like he plays athletic golf, meaning not like he's not out there rehearsing positions and techniques and things like that. He looks like he's just trying to hit shots, which I think is an awesome way to be. I think if, over the course of a career, it's much better to be like that because the technique guys, things seem to go wrong or they get off, and I feel like they're lost a lot more than kind of the artist guys. And Gotterup is definitely that. Also, how about Marco? Is it Marco Pinge?
Mm-hmm.
This kid, I saw him. I was like, I never heard his name. I was like, who we got up here? Then I watched him swing, and I was like, how in the hell do I not know who this guy is? He looks phenomenal. Played his way into the Open Championship too.
Yeah, beautiful swing. Also smashes it. Fun fact about Marco Pinch, Sleaze, got suspended last year for gambling on golf.
Respect. So he's a bro.
So I like him even more.
I like it. Hey, Marco, if you're listening, we could use a little help here on Subpar. We're on a bit of a dry spell. So if you got anything you love this week, slide in the DMs.
Before we get back to our Open Championship preview, we didn't think the G-Rock could get much better, but the new G-Rock Pro, it's a serious upgrade. The sound is next level, 30 watts of clean, balanced audio with a legit subwoofer and tweeter. It's got 30% more magnet strength, so once it's on the cart, it's not going anywhere. 24-hour battery life, doubles as a power bank, and now you can pair unlimited speakers, 2, 10, 100 if you want. Still waterproof, still dustproof, and now even better looking and feeling. Use code SUBPAR at the checkout for 25% off your G-Rock Pro at rockform.com. That's ROKFORM.com. Code SUBPAR for 25% off. Trust us, you'll hear the difference. Now back to our Open Championship preview. Back to Chris Gotterup real quick, just because I don't want to think, as most people say, we just slurp people on here all the time. I will say one knock on him. We got to work on the pace of play, Chris Gotterup. You got to get quicker. I mean, you got put on the clock by yourself in the final group. They said, Rory, Wyndham, y'all are fine. Chris, you got to pick up the pace a little bit. That is something I have followed him a couple of times this year, and I actually texted Hayden, was like, dude, is he slow? Like, I haven't seen this side of him, and he's gotten really deliberate as of late. And I mean, that had to have affected him a little bit, knowing he just got singled out being on the clock.
On the 15th hole, too, which you don't really see. I think the group got warned, on 13, which also you don't see very often in the final group. And apparently, according to Chris, he's like, we've been waiting most of the day. But then they got warned on 13, and then clearly after they warned him, Chris was the slow one, they noticed. And they started timing him on 15. Definitely not something you want to have happen. Right after he got alerted of it, he hit a pretty poor shot, one of his worst shots. But props to him. He rallied, came through, made a huge putt on 16. And then from there, it was just hold on. But yeah, I don't remember him earlier on being a slow player. Maybe it's just something that creeps in, but he doesn't seem like the over analytical type to me, Colt. So maybe it was just I'm trying to close out the biggest tournament of my life here and I'm freaking out a little bit.
No, but super happy for him. Huge win and best of luck this week to him in the Open Championship. Also, we had an opposite field event, the ISCO Championship out in Louisville. William Mao, another kid that was so good in college. Been waiting on him to get going here on the PGA Tour. A little final round 61. Sat around and waited for 2 hours afterwards to see if he was going to be the winner. Gets his first win on the PGA Tour. Locks up his card, more importantly, because he was having a pretty tough year before that. But these opposite field events, I mean, they get a lot of hate, but they can change some guys' career around. I mean, the same thing happened to Chris Gotterup last year in Myrtle Beach.
Mm-hmm. They're huge for that regard. For him to be exempt now, like you said, it was looking like he wasn't going to be keeping his card via points this year. 7-shot deficit, goes out, laps the field, waits around, wins the thing. Huge for him. Also, shout out Jackson Coyven.
Yeah.
11th at the John Deere, backs it up with a 6th this past week?
T6.
At the ISCO. ISCO, always up to no good. He's doing Clanton type stuff right now. Granted, I know ISCO doesn't have the greatest field in the world. John Deere had some dudes in it, though, too. And you can only get in what you can get in. I don't care. He's a college kid. He's still going to go back and play at Auburn this year. That's really impressive.
Yeah, he'll have a PGA Tour card after NCAA's the following year. He's got some game, man. Not the longest hitter in the world, but shows it doesn't matter. He can play some golf. Also want to give some love to our man Kevin Kisner. A little tied for 8th out at the ISCO. Just awesome from him. Just kind of out of nowhere. Been struggling with his game, obviously doing TV part-time as well. Nice top 10 for him. Also, Neil Shipley won on the Korn Ferry Tour. His second win of the season. He's up to 4th on the points list. He's going to be heading to the PGA Tour. But let's get to the main event. The American Century Championship out in Lake Tahoe. I'll be honest, Sleaze, it hurt that we weren't there this year. We have so much fun out there with Corbell the past several years. We weren't there this year, but I was keeping a close eye on it. I had a rather substantial wager with our man Charles Barkley. The line in Vegas was 65th or better. He actually bet me 55th or better. And if you looked on Instagram last night, you'd have saw I collected. But Charles opened with an 81, 9 points, by far his best ever. I was a little nervous, to be honest, but he was chirping me all night Friday, FaceTime me, telling Natalie you better enjoy Applebee's for your fine dining experiences are over. Your man ain't going to be able to afford nice things anymore because I'm going to take all his money. Not so fast, my friend. Charles ended up doing Charles Barkley things the last 2 days and struggled, but he was devastated last night, having to pay me, but just he was so upset because he played so well on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday was a struggle. But as always, man, he's the guy at that tournament. Joe Pavelski is your winner, but if you saw on ESPN, Joe Pavelski is your winner. Charles Barkley finishes 69th.
Yeah, that's when you get that top 70 and it makes the headline, you know you're the dude. Yeah, I mean, I was watching it and I just kind of clicked on I didn't watch the first day, clicked on the leaderboard and he was like partway through. I was like, oh my God. Like, I think through 9 or 10, he was like tied with Marty Fish.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on? And at that point, honestly, when he finished the day with 9, I was like, this thing's in the bag. The 65th, top 65 is in the bag. Like, he could play bad the next 2 days. And maybe everything he's told us, you know, on radio and stuff, like he's the new man. He's lost weight. He's got a new swing thought, all the stuff. And then just a devastating second day. Minus 16 on the second day, minus 10 on the third, and still just barely missed out. If he could close with a few pars on his final 9, he still would have hit that top 65 bet, which I know he bet on. I know all his boys bet on too. I thought it was a home run, but you know, late nights in the casino, maybe things are going well in there for the kid. Maybe show up a little lethargic. It happens. So, but dude, the hole out, spinning it back too, by the way, I was like, that's different. That doesn't normally happen. I do think he's a lot better, but just a brutal day 2 for the Chuckster.
I was nervous, a little bit nervous after day 1, but I did say it's only the first period. We got a lot of game left. Just stay patient. Things will happen. And yeah, like you said, after several nights in the casino, drinking, gambling, firing all night, not much sleep, it catches up to you. But I love the man. I'll run it back with him again next year, obviously, but got to give some love to Joe Pavelski, man. This is a guy who's finished runner-up twice at this tournament. I told you on our SiriusXM show, I picked him to actually win. So apparently I don't know shit about the PGA Tour because I never win with my picks out there, but celebrity golf, I got you. Obviously, a little different level, but Joe Pavelski, man, going to be a Hall of Famer, former NHL player, Stanley Cup champion. The guy is just, he can play some golf, and now that he's retired, he actually gets to play a lot more, and I know the score looks like it was kind of a runaway, but it was tight there for a while with Jake Owen. Taylor Twellman was up there as well. Steph Curry tried to make a late run, but that tournament is so awesome, man. We got to get back out there.
I mean, it's one of the best weeks. Everybody that goes there says that. And yeah, it was tight for a while, and there was kind of some new blood. Pavelski, obviously not. He was like the second or third betting favorite, but with Jake Owen in contention, who's the guy we always talk about, like he should be good. You would think he would contend, but hadn't really done it. Taylor Twellman, he's going to be good going forward too. He's only in his second year, I believe, of this thing. I've played golf with him a few times out at the Rock. He's a good player, hits it pretty hard. He's going to be tough going forward. Also, shout out to our guy Adam Thielen with his best finish in the deal. He's another one still playing. Obviously, got years left in the NFL, but when he gets done and if he starts playing a lot of golf like most of these guys do, he gonna be a problem.
He is
going forward. So some new blood, and shout out Jimmy Rollins with the ace piece.
Yeah,
you
want a boat.
That's what Jimmy needs. You
know what else you need with a boat? Some nice shades, Sleaze. You got to have your sunglasses when you go out on the boat. And Shady Rays offers high-performance sunglasses built with golfers in mind. The Green Wolf collection has semi-polarized lenses to cut glare with increasing clarity. Enhances contrast on the course, tint designed to enhance readability. Lightweight, comfortable with rubber nose pad and snap pin hinges, so they stay in place during your swing. 30-day risk-free returns and exchanges. Head to shadyrays.com and use code SUBPAR for 35% off your sunglasses. shadyrays.com. They are nice and comfortable, even with a headset on.
Look at me. I know this is an audio platform, but look at me right now. Tell me I don't look sick.
You look great.
You can't.
You look like a model.
Exactly. True. A lot of people say that.
All right. Well, let's get to some picks this week. We got the Open Championship, the final major championship of the season, which is really sad to say because it's only July and we don't have anything. What I feel like, obviously, the FedEx Cup playoffs, they're exciting and all, but no majors until April. is kind of devastating, as were our picks last week. They stunk. But listen, we're big-time players. We show up at majors. We peak 4 times a year. All right, so you ready to get going?
All the time, and I peak quickly. We are also, after this week, in the ultimate darkness of sports watching until football starts. Because the major's over. There's not a ton of meaningful golf other than guys trying to play their way into the playoffs. And then we get to the good stuff. So enjoy this weekend and this week, because after this, unless you like, ground ball double plays on SportsCenter top 10, that's about all you got.
Okay, well, let's get to it. Here we go. We're going to throw several bets out there, and then you got to tell me what's your favorite bet of the week so the people at home can follow along with us over at the Fanatic Sportsbook. Okay, for me, a lot can obviously depend on the weather, the forecast. It does look like there's a chance of rain every day. Not crazy winds, 10 to 15 each day. So it'll be interesting to see if one side of the wave gets the better end of the deal. But it's Monday, and we're going to make some picks here. And I just think my favorite bet of the week is going to be a top 10 play. And you're getting him at plus 250. The last time the Open Championship was at Royal Portrush, he finished tied for second. He's a top 10 machine. Nobody birdies the 72nd hole to finish the top 10 at major championships more than fairway Jesus Tommy Fleetwood.
I like that. I got him mixed into the mix as well. Dude, and wouldn't it be so nice to see him win one?
Yes.
As much as I always pull for Americans, it would be so nice to see Tommy get one of those things. And I want to ask you this too, Colt, because I feel like just kind of looking at my picks, this is the theme that's worked out with the weather. Looks like we're going to get real Open Championship weather right now, right? Windy, rain is in the mix every single day. Hopefully there's not the big discrepancy between the waves. But being that that's the case, do you look at the Euros and be like, I lean Euro this week just because they grew up playing in this. They play in this more often, probably a little more comfortable playing in it than most of the guys from the States.
I would say
do you care at all?
I would say I don't lean Euros. I just lean short games. And I reached out to Justin Ray, the stat guru, because, I'm not big into diving into the stats, but I'm going to give you this one. Major winners since 2013, okay? Scrambling rank for the week. The Open averages 3.6 as the ranking, with every winner ranking 7th or better since 2013. The other 3 majors, the average rank is 13.4. So it shows you how important short game is over at the Open Championship. And that's why I love Tommy Fleetwood. I also love Jon Rahm this week. His Open Championship is remarkable. If you also look from Justin Ray, lowest scoring average ever at the Open among players without a win, minimum 30 rounds. Only player with 3 top 10 finishes in the last 4 years at the Open. Best bogey avoidance average at the Open the last 4 years. That would be Jon Rahm.
I love Jon Rahm this week. I got a handful of indie bets in here. One of mine is Jon Rahm at a top 10. You look at his major finishes: 14th, 8th, 7th in the majors this year. Just coming off a second at Valderrama, playing well, and exactly what you said about his short game. He's in the elite category in pro golf of that. Love Jon Rahm this week. I'll go to a member of his team, Colt, that I like this week as well. Has also played well at the majors this year outside of the PGA, where he had his 60th, but he was 4th at the U.S. Open. Was there the entire time till the bad break on the 17th hole, 14th at Augusta. I like Tyrrell Hatton for a top 20.
Okay. What kind of odds we get on that?
Plus 140.
Okay. So not a lot of juice, but played great at
not a ton, but I got to get something over the finish line.
Yep. Played great at the U.S. Open. I think when the weather gets tough, he's obviously a fantastic ball striker. He can lean on that. I love Tyrrell Hatton every week. You know that. I think the guy is so good. If he can keep it together, look out for him this week. Another thing on Jon Rahm, he finished tied for 11th at Portrush the last time the Open Championship was there back in 2019. And that's why one of my other bets that I like here is over at Fanatic Sportsbook, you can pick winner without Scottie Scheffler or Rory McIlroy, and Jon Rahm is your favorite at plus 900 at that.
That's nice. I like the winners without. That's when you know you're the king shit of the golf world.
Exactly.
All right, eliminate y'all from the mix. Yeah. Who else after you guys that are clearly better than everybody else? But plus 900. I am very, very high on Jon Rahm this week. Maybe as high as I've been on him in a major championship in a good while. He's been playing just solid, good golf all year. Still shocking to me that he doesn't seem to win as much as I would expect over on Live. But damn, what's he got? One finish outside the top 10 over there, and it was an 11th. Like he seems to never play bad. Never play bad.
I'll be honest.
I'll go to another
No,
Go ahead.
I think Jon Rahm is going to be your Open champion this year. I really do. I think the golf course is perfect for him. Like I said, T11 in 2019, I think the Open Championship sets up great for him. And by the way, if he does go on to win, all he needs is the PGA Championship for the career Grand Slam. Like, he's 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah, he needs this one. I mean, I think he'll get there ultimately in his career, which is, it could be soon, it could be years down the road. But his type of game, he's one of the handful of guys, I think, Colt, that, like, regardless of the major championship, regardless of the venue of the major championship, like, that's just like his game travels everywhere. And he, like I said before, rarely does he just play bad. You're like, oh, Jon Rahm just disappeared. Outside of the year that he went to live and kind of everything was helter-skelter for him for a while, like, he seems to play well every single time.
Mm-hmm. Had a very bad year in the majors last year, but did finish top 10 at the Open Championship last year. So, yeah, I'm extremely high on him. Like I said, if I was going to bet who's going to win this, I'm going to go with Jon Rahm.
That plus 900 is super nice, too, by the way.
Take those two guys
Scottie
out.
And Rory.
Yeah. We're going to step away from the podcast for a moment to tell you that this portion of the podcast is supported by Carlisle Companies, a leading supplier of innovative building envelope systems. With buildings responsible for nearly 40% of total energy use and energy demand on the rise, Carlisle is meeting the challenge head on. Carlisle's advanced energy efficient and labor-saving solutions help reduce strain on the grid while reducing labor for contractors. We have a lot of great events in our area, but hands down, one of the coolest events in the Phoenix area is the Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic. This Epson Tour golf event, which is a feeder tour for the LPGA, has the largest purse on the Epson Tour and attracts some of the best talent in women's golf. The Carlisle, Arizona Women's Golf Classic at TPC Scottsdale every spring reflects Carlisle's commitment to the support and advancement of women in business and athletics. Now back to our Open Championship preview.
I got one more, like, prop bet in terms of, like, finishing positions, because I'm just going to fire a bunch this week, being that it's a major championship. And like I said, it'll be dry after this for a while. Xander Schauffele, I know he hadn't had the year that we thought, right? But he's also coming off injury. It's been a little slower getting back to form, I would say, Colt. But signs of life last week, 8th place finish, good final round at the Scottish. Only his second top 10 of the year, tied his best finish. But I think maybe he's rounding into form. Also with these weathers and conditions and just an open, like, Links Golf Open Championship, he said his biggest challenge last week, going into the week, was like, if I could just not tinker with my golf swing for 4 days, I'll consider that a win. And I think Links Golf kind of lends itself to that, to where it's less it's so much more creative and so much more shot making that I think technique kind of goes out the window for a lot of guys. And I think that'd be great for Xander. And you get plus money on him at a top 20, which is crazy given that this guy won 2 majors last year. Plus 125 for Xander, I think is, I mean, these aren't huge payouts, but like, if he has a semblance of his game, he's going to finish in the top 20.
Yeah, so actually, I put together a same game parlay over at Fanatics, and it's a top 20, 3-way same game parlay. I got Jon Rahm, Xander Schauffele, and Shane Lowry. Top 20s pays plus 820.
Ooh, nice. I like that. Going with the big dogs.
Yeah, why not? Plus
what
money.
Say the three again.
Jon Rahm, Xander, Shane Lowry. The winner last time was over at Portrush.
Talk to me about Shane for a little bit here, because he's going to get all the love going in. Of course, he won the last time there. It was like one of the coolest moments in recent major championship history. But for all those reasons, is it tougher for Shane this year to not go back and think of all the stuff, be reminded of it? I mean, he won in a landslide too.
Yeah, he won by 6. He's got a massive mural over there. I don't think it's going to be like any tougher than normal on him. I know he is the guy from 2019, but I still think Rory McIlroy gets all the attention when it's in Northern Ireland over there. Shane Lowry's going to feel the love, no doubt about it, but I don't think there's like any extra added pressure or anything like that on Shane, even though he did win here the last time. I think he's one of the best players in the world. He's on the all hands team, in my opinion. When you go to Justin Ray's stats, you got to have a good short game at the Open Championship, and obviously has great vibes at Portrush. When you win by 6 coming back there, I expect him to play well this week. He's played so well all season, just hasn't crossed the finish line yet.
Played really good. And I would actually say, is it harder because he's over there? I think it's maybe easier. It's like, I already did it. Like, this is the one I would pick. If I could pick anything, I already did it. Pressure's off me. Rory probably feels it even more, even though, we all thought the pressure would be off after Augusta. I think Rory probably feels a little more heat to play well this week than Shane Lowry.
100%.
But staying on that same game parlay, Colt, I'm kind of in a similar theme with you. I'm going big dogs in my same game parlay. So tell me what you think about this. First one, we've talked about him just now. I'm going to go Rory in the top 10. I don't think I need to go through his stats and stuff to say why I like Rory in the top 10 here. Next up, Ludwig, top 20. Okay. 8th last week. He had a 3-hole stretch on Saturday, Colt, where he went bogey, trip, bogey, which he could have packed it up after that. He didn't.
Nice caddying, Joe.
Yeah, way to go, Scav. Has not played well in majors, though, outside of Augusta. Augusta, he loves. He plays well there. Other than that, it's been pretty unimpressive in his brief career. He hadn't had a lot of them yet. But I'm going Ludwig top 20 because I think he's rounding into form. And then last piece of the parlay, Victor Hovland top 20. Okay. Weird year. I think you would agree with Victor. Start off the year, a bunch of missed cuts, hated his golf swing, hated his golf game. Then wins at the Valspar when he said he wasn't sure he was going to play because he hated his golf swing so much. And then now, like, since that win, he's had no missed cuts and only outside the top 25 twice. And he's played some really good golf. So I'm going to go Victor Hovland. Ludwig, Rory, Victor. That's my same game parlay. That's plus 1075. So $10 bet gets you $117 and 50.
I just got to clarify something because you said Rory top 10 and then the other two top 20. Is that how it is, or all three top 20?
Correct. No, Rory's top 10.
Okay.
And then Ludwig and Hovland top 20.
God, what if Rory finishes like 12th?
That would be hurtful. That would be hurtful because, like I said, plus 1075. That's a nice little digit there. That's what I got. Big dogs too, just like yours, kind of.
One last bet for you, just to maybe sprinkle a little something on there because it has a nice payout. Is 80 to 1. I'm gonna give you a dark horse here. Runner up at the Open Championship last year, also runner up at the Masters earlier this year. Justin Rose.
Dude, we're like weirdly aligned in the last few weeks, which is shit because none of them have hit.
That's not good.
That was my sleeper.
Okay.
80 to 1. Dude, by the way, even if you don't like him to win, which I do think Justin Rose could win. By the way, he shot 63 final round at the Scottish, lowest round of the day. Played phenomenal. Even if you don't like him to win, dude, he's plus 280 on a top 20, plus 650 on a top 10. He's definitely the type of guy that if he goes out and has good stuff, like he'll be a factor on Sunday. But that's my sleeper too. 80 to 1. That's a lot. I don't know if it's a win, if you take that bet to win, but I wouldn't be shocked if Justin Rose plays well.
Yeah, I like it, man. I'm so excited for the Open, ready to wake up early, cup of coffee, sitting on the couch, watching the Open Championship, watching them over there in their sweaters as it's 115 degrees here in Scottsdale, just absolutely miserable. But it's going to be awesome. One guy we have not mentioned, other than saying a bet without him, the number one player in the world, Scottie Scheffler, another top 10. The Scottish Open, I believe, finished tied for 8th. That's now 10 straight top 10s for Scottie. His major championship record, if you look at it, I guess if you want to point out a weakness, it would be the Open Championship. I know he's got 2 top 10s. His best finish is tied for 7th. But what are we thinking about Scottie heading into Royal Portrush?
I mean, we haven't mentioned him because we've been talking about bets mostly. And I never don't love Scottie, but Vegas loves him so much too. It's just hard to find bets that I think are good for, like, what do you want to bet him to win? 450? How about a top 5, dude? You're barely getting plus money, plus 115. Like, it's just hard to make money, I feel like, on Scottie Scheffler. Although if you bet all these, you probably would be doing better than we've been doing the last few weeks. I love Scottie Scheffler. The fact that he finished 8th last week, Colt, and he was like disgusted with a lot of the stuff that was going on out there. I mean, his putter, I thought he was ready to snap and throw it away. Like, didn't even look like bad putts. I think he was hitting a lot of putts where he was looking, just misreading them. Rory had a little bit of the same thing, but like, that just shows, like, I mean, he hated so much of what was going on out there, and there he is 8th.
Yeah,
it's like we always talk about. His bad golf is so much better than everybody's. It's crazy. So of course I love Scottie Scheffler going into Portrush, but it's just hard to bet him. I don't know where to bet him.
Yeah, you bet him a top 10. What is he, like, minus 160 to
minus
top 10 or something?
Minus 175 for a top 10.
That's just wild.
Yeah.
Here's my deal, and I've said this before on this show, and I laughed talking with his dad at the PGA Championship. I remember we were at our SiriusXM party, and Mr. Scheffler comes up to me. He's like, "What do you think of Scottie this week? Does he have a chance? Like, he doesn't have much experience around Quail Hollow other than the President's Cup." I was like, "Mr. Scheffler, does he have a chance? Your son's the best golfer in the world. Unless they change something about the game of golf this week where there's not 18 tee boxes and 18 greens with holes cut in them, I think the man will be just fine. He's the best player in the world for a reason." And I feel like he doesn't have a ton of experience on links golf, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's still golf, and he figures out how to put a number on the scorecard that's better than everyone else's, it seems like, pretty much every single week. The wind, I mean, the man grew up in Texas. He knows how to play in the wind. Mm-hmm. He is very creative. His short game, we talk so much about his ball striking that his chipping and pitching doesn't get enough love, and he is phenomenal. I like Jon Rahm to win this week, but if you told me, hey, Scottie Scheffler's going to win, I'd be like, yeah, no shit. He's the best.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the highest ball hitters on the PGA Tour. Also, I'd argue he could be the lowest ball hitter if he wanted to. He can move it around every which way. Mr. Scheffler, do you think he's got a chance? Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I think he's dead this week. Now, I just don't like Scottie in 72 holes against the rest of the world. I mean, yeah, he's got a chance every single week. I actually think, look, he hasn't had a ton of experience or, a ton of Open Championships under his belt at this point, but I like him in links golf. Like, the more creative you have to get with your shots, I like Scottie Scheffler because he has the ability to hit those, where a lot of guys have one go-to shot that they hit, and it's harder to flight it down, or it's harder to flight it right to left and hold it up against the wind, or vice versa. I think that only favors Scottie Scheffler.
The one thing I would say, just to go against something with Scottie, he is so good at being so precise. Nobody hits their spots more than Scottie Scheffler. And over at an Open Championship, so much depends on what happens once the ball hits the ground. And over there, you lose control of it. Over here on the PGA Tour, it's pretty much where it lands is where it stops. Over there, you can hit a perfect shot and get a shit bounce and end up in one of those pot bunkers and you're making bogey. So there is some luck involved over there. And that's where, once he loses a little bit, they all lose control once the ball gets on the ground when it's firm over there. And that can be a little scary because you can hit great shots and get screwed. You can hit shit shots and get extremely lucky. Where it's a little different over here on the PGA Tour, I'd say, where it's mostly just point and shoot. But yes, I love Scottie this week. I love him every week. He tees it up. But let's talk about some guys we're not too high on out of the best players in the world. Who you got?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you the same thing. I'm just we'll take it top 10 favorites, right? In terms of top guys in the field. If I had to pick one that I was I don't really like him this week, it'd be Bryson DeChambeau. The Open Championship has kind of been a bugaboo for him, Colt, historically. Secondly, when you look at the weather, the wind, and the things like that, he's also played a lot of golf in Texas. He knows clearly how to play in the wind, but I wouldn't say that's his best golf, is the flighting it down, hitting the shots. I like him where he can let driver go on every single hole, smash it. His putter is phenomenal, and he's actually good around the greens. I don't think that gets any talk either, but this type of golf just seems to have been kind of one that he hasn't quite figured out yet. And I like him on, the big venues where you can just crush it and, hack it out of the rough if it happens, if you do miss the fairway, but he's going to have an advantage because he's so far ahead of guys. I just don't look at links golf and think Bryson DeChambeau. So he'd be my guy in that top stretch that I'm just I'd be more surprised if Bryson was a factor on Sunday than if he wasn't. I'll say that.
All right. Well, let me give you a little something because, I dived deep into this before we got ready for our Open Championship preview. And by diving deep, I means I text Justin Ray, who actually does all the stats. Shout out to him. He's the best in the business. So you mentioned Bryson's putter. Bryson at majors since 2022, strokes gained putting per round. At the other three majors, plus 0.3. At the Open, minus 0.9. Massive difference, over a stroke worse per round at the Open Championship. I don't know if it's the slower greens or what it is, but something doesn't carry over to the Open Championship like it does the other majors for Bryson, and that's part of the reason he struggles over there.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I think it drives a lot of guys crazy. That'd be interesting, the stat to see for a lot of the top guys. I just think putting on those, where typically fescue greens and they're slower because they have to be because the wind blows so hard. Most PGA Tour players don't like slow greens. Like Tiger Woods famously, wasn't as good on slow greens. And Bryson is so good, I feel like, on the other ones. At Augusta, he's phenomenal. U.S. Opens, he's been really good with that putter. If that's not a weapon, it's clearly, obviously, it's a lot tougher for him. But I just think links golf in general for Bryson, not that he can't play well on it. He's one of the best players in the world. I just don't look at it like that's the week I really like Bryson. There's a bunch of other weeks where I would. Who do you got? So I got Bryson as my guy in the top. As the week goes on, I might look for a bet. I don't know what he'll be odds to miss the cut, but I might take a peek at it if it's something that's got some juice behind it.
Before we get back to our Open Championship preview, I want to tell you about Golf Pride. If you care about feel, consistency, and control, start with your grips. Golf Pride's new Align Max features a raised ridge that fits your hands naturally, guiding you into the same grip every time. That means a more repeatable swing shot after shot. Whether you're flushing it or trying to fix that fade, it all starts with the grip. Align Max gives you the confidence to swing like you mean it. Right now, you can get 20% off a full set, up to 13 swing grips and 1 putter grip at golfpride.com with code SUBPAR20, now through August 31st. Now back to our episode. I hope this doesn't happen because I love the guy, but what I saw last week scares me a little bit. And this guy, he's a past Open champion, but a lot been going on with the caddy situation throughout the year. Had Billy Foster on the bag last week, really struggled at the Scottish Open. I know Billy's on the bag again this week, but Collin Morikawa, I'm a little concerned about heading into this week. Like, he shot 6 over on Friday. Like, Collin Morikawa doesn't shoot 6 over.
Wasn't that the day, didn't Gutterup shoot 9 under that day on the same day? And I don't know if conditions, I don't know who was in what wave and all that, but I was like, there were some scores being shot on that day across the leaderboard. So it wasn't like one side was screwed. The weather was pretty good over there. That was shocking to me. The caddy changes, like, I know that happens a lot. It doesn't happen a ton though, Colt. As you know, at the top 10 in the world, you don't see turnover all that much. If you're in the top 10 in the world, typically things are going pretty good. And there's some getting to know you, getting used to each other type period. And to be on week 2 of that going into a major championship, probably not ideal. But yeah, I was shocked to see Collin Morikawa going home early this past week. And you just don't see that from him very often.
Yeah, but either way, it's going to be an awesome week. The final major of the year. The first 3 have been awesome. And we got Scottie Scheffler at the PGA, Rory McIlroy completing the career Grand Slam at the Masters, and then JJ Spawn. What a story that was, winning the U.S. Open at Oakmont. I just hope we have another good one, Sleaze. I'm so excited to watch. It's going to be great over there at Royal Portrush. The fans are the best in all of golf over there. I've got a chance to play one Open Championship. It was really, really special. That place is awesome. I love Royal Portrush, and I think we're going to have a hell of a battle.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week for a number of reasons. I'll tell you another storyline that, like, might not get talked about a ton on the broadcast over there, but it matters. Final major championship before we pick for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
With a, chance to get a lot of points. And we got a lot of guys. I just went through and looked at the rankings. There's so many bubble guys right now that I really have no idea which way this would go if it ended right now. But I'm going to rattle off some of the bubble guys. Tell me who you're high on, people you're not high on going into this week. So you got Harris English, Maverick McNeely, Brian Harman, Andrew Novak, Patrick Cantlay, Sam Burns are kind of like our current bubble guys. Oh, and by the way, you could throw in Keegan into that mix too. He's inside the top 12, but that's kind of like 8 through 14, 15, let's call it. Guys that are right there right now. I mean, this is a huge week for those guys. Is there anyone out of that group that you love or like hate this week going into
Yeah, so I mean, if I'm picking the squad, like I want Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay on there. 1, they're experienced. 2, they're fantastic putters, which is what the Ryder Cup always comes down to. If I'm going to say someone I don't think will get picked on there, I don't think Maverick McNeely or Andrew Novak will, unless they do something really special the last few weeks of the year. But I'm leaning more towards the putters, and you got to have Sam Burns, who's I think the number 2 putter on the PGA Tour this year. Patrick Cantlay, his experience. I mean, what he did at Rome, those last few holes before all hell broke loose. There's a reason they call him Patty Ice. I like him in those big moments. I know he hadn't had the best year this year. I think him dealing with all the stuff that's going on with the PGA Tour and Live and everything has really hurt his golf game. If he can put that to the side for the next month or 2 and really focus, I think he'll be wearing the red, white, and blue and up there at Bethpage.
Yeah, it would be a huge boost for any of these guys to go out and have a great week this week. I look at Harris English as a guy I think that's going to play his way onto that team. He just seems to be steady Eddie. He's a very calm guy, but he hits it hard, hits it great. Colt would be nice play at Bethpage. And then, yeah, the Maverick McNeely gets interesting because he did a lot of his damage kind of earlier on, whereas you look at Sam Burns, he's kind of doing it more recently, which of course I think you tend to lean towards the hotter hand leading up. But like, I don't really know. Like Brian Harman, he's a past Open champ.
Yeah.
He goes out and has a good week. He's going to play his way onto that thing, regardless of like course fit for Bethpage. He can play good anywhere. It's just, I mean, these last like 4 spots, I feel like it's normally Colt like 1 or 2. Like last time it came down to 1, Justin Thomas or Keegan, basically, right? This year, and granted, there's still time left, and we still have the playoffs. But like, man, I'm like, there's 5 spots you could argue for this one.
There's some very important golf left to be played before those picks are made. Obviously got the playoffs, but I'm excited to see what happens. I think the biggest thing is, are we going to see Keegan teeing it up or just being the captain? But I hope everyone enjoys the Open Championship. I want to share one more story before we get out of here that's totally off topic. But first, Sleaze, custom gear just hits differently. I recently made some Birdie Juice tees, and the whole process was quick, easy, and the results were legit. You can create your own, too. Custom polos, hats, hoodies, and more from the top golf brands, all with your favorite logos. Skip the generic stuff, head to shop.golf.com, and make something that is actually yours. All right, Sleaze, I got out of the heat for a couple of days. I went over to Newport Beach to play a little golf, a place called Mesa Verde Country Club. Jake Knapp's a member over there. Max Homa joined us on Thursday. And I think a Guinness Book of World Records record was set recently for most net under par by a best ball squad. I'm not going to give out any names, like I said, but I have a feeling when they take their golf bag home at night, a lot of sand falls out the bottom of it because these are some sandbagging sons of bitches over there, okay? Everyone's stroking off Max, handicap-wise. You know what I mean? He's a plus six.
Pause.
He's a plus 6, okay? We had a gentleman that was a 4 and a guy that was a 6. So we got 12 shots and 10 shots, respectively, okay? We start off the first day. Max and I are partners. I'm 3 under through 4. Max is 2 under through 4. We are currently 3 down, okay? Their squads started off. These are net scores. Eagle, eagle, par, eagle, eagle. 8 under through 5.
You had to win that third hole. You had to make bird on that third hole to clip them when they slipped up and made a par.
Yeah, they were 17 under through 12. One gentleman with his handicap shot net 26 on the front 9.
Oh, God.
Net 26.
10, like a little 10 piece, a little 10 on G.
I mean,
nice.
He shot 4 under, getting 6 shots. He shot 4 under gross on the front 9. The other guy was 4 under par through 13 holes, ended up shooting even, but through 13 holes, Max was 3 under. I was like, you're beating one of the best players in the world straight up, and you're getting 10 shots off the guy. Something doesn't add up here.
Yeah, and it's not like Max is 5 over and you're 4 over, and you're just both playing bat. Like, he's playing pretty good. So what you're saying is you feel like you got jobbed. You feel like you got taken advantage over in Southern Cal, yeah? As
they say at the poker table, if you can't spot the sucker, you're the sucker, and I was definitely the sucker. You know, you just look at the USGA GIN app, which we love, and that's how the strokes align. I play by the rules, go over there, but there's a reputation over there, and I would say they happened to live up to it this past week. I got fleeced. Thank God Charles Barkley sucked the last 2 days. I was able to get most of my money back.
Yeah, that is good news. Chuck took note of that. It took care of you. But yeah, I know a few guys from that club out there, and there is a certain reputation amongst some of them. I don't know the other guys that you played with, but my question is, so you played multiple days. Max played the first day. Did you run the same game back the next day with the same shots after you just got your ass handed to you?
Yep,
we had first day playing pretty good golf. We're like, hey, we'll play again, but this got to be tweaked. I just lost 6 and 5, and I shot 2 under.
More like 8 and 7, but yeah. So we ran it back. We had 2 guys out, 2 different guys in. But that didn't change anything. So I lost again. I didn't play that great the second day, but we still had a guy that was getting 12 strokes off of me. Okay. He was a 10. I was a +2 from the tees I played, and we all played different tees, which is stupid, but he made double on the first and then 8 straight pars on the front 9 to end it, getting 5 shots off me. I was like, okay, that's a problem. And the hole he doubled, he didn't stroke on. So obviously so he made 5 birdies coming in.
Yeah, that sucks. That's why I think when you have like I know this is a different group. You're a guest. By the way, it's great to call the guests like people that host you sandbagging sons of bitches.
Yeah,
that's a good way to get an invite back. But like our group at the Rock, let's call it. All right, we all have handicaps. We play to those handicaps. There should be a separate handicap that you have that's only kept in those games that you play with those guys. So there's no like, hey, I shoot even par at the Rock. I'm a 4 handicap. Oh, I just went to Chicago and I shot 82, 82, 82. Right? My handicap went up, and then you come back to your home game and shoot good scores again. It should be like only kept, whatever your group is that you play with everywhere across the country, like the handicap should be kept just in that game. I don't care what you do outside of this game. If you shoot 62 or 92, doesn't matter. It's only kept for this because that's ultimately like the only thing. It's so easy to manipulate otherwise. And some people, Colt, are great on their home course, and suck when they go elsewhere. And then they do go elsewhere and shoot a bunch and their handicap goes up. But then they come back home and they're great again. And some guys never leave and only play their home course, and their handicap looks probably better than it should be if they were to go play somewhere else. I'm a big believer in your handicap should just be kept amongst like your group in the games you play against each other. Nothing else matters.
All I know is the next time I head out to Newport Beach and we're going to get amongst it with those fellas out there, I will be playing 36 holes a day for a week and shooting at least 80 every single time. Just that's what whatever the computer says is what my handicap is. So I might be showing up at Mesa Verde as a 4.
That's my point. And what happens when guys go into like a member guest? Like every member guest that go to a guy's play, oh man, I played last week out in San Francisco and shot 81, 84. It's like, cool. Don't care. You just shot 71, 72 out here as a 6.
Yeah, weird how that happens.
I don't know. You got to keep it just in-house, I feel like, is the number one way to go. You avoid all that. Because now you play these guys again, you'd be like, all right, dude, you're a 1 and you're a 2. Or you're a scratch. It changes shit pretty dramatically.
Yeah, you sandbagging sons of bitches. Make sure you empty all that out before you travel. I don't want your bag weighing over 50 pounds.
Right. Take care of my greens fees too, you bastards.
No, but serious note, it was a lot of fun. Shout out Mesa Verde. They have an awesome membership out there. A lot of fun out there on the golf course, even though I did get my ass whipped. But either way, everybody enjoy the Open Championship. It's going to be awesome. Final major. Take it all in, and we'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.